what do you do if you have a problem with a CISS? Maybe the cartridges are not recognizing these things here, or maybe you've broken off one of the retaining clips, like that. I think you can see the difference there. Well, not to worry. HobbyPrint keeps parts in stock, and we also, if you've purchased off us, we will know what ink you have in your CISS, and we can help you out. So let's have a look how we would do that. We would simply fill a block, and if you're using dye sublimation ink, say Photo Plus ink, we would know that, and we would pre-fill or pre-prime the block with 5 ml of ink, just so that once you've done the changeover, it starts printing immediately and gives it time to draw all the air out and get the ink in. So let's have a look at how we would do this. By the way, the reason we would do this is these chips are quite difficult to remove and you can break things. So we've preferred to go with the cartridge block approach. Let's get into this. I'm using a sump to collect any leaked ink. And the first thing I'm going to do is to close my ink shutdown valve. And that prevents more ink flowing from the ink tank. Then we're going to take our ink tank, because we're not working on it, and get it out of the way. We just use these for samples. They can go. And what I've got here is some pre-fitted collets. Now I'm using these deliberately because they've got ink on them and you can see them better than clear. And at this point I'm going to ask Sandra to go overhead and we'll go through the procedure. Thank you. Right. I would take a mobile phone and take an image of the layout because it will help you. It is quite easy to forget how these things go back together. So if you take an image on your mobile phone, then you can have a look at it and remind yourself how things laid out. So let's get into the procedure. All you're going to need is a very small, clean screwdriver. And here we go. And I've got some tissue on hand, just in case. There is always going to be a little bit of leakage when you're messing around with ink products. So all you're going to do is to remove the battery first. We want you to support the board and just pull out the connector. And that's the battery disconnected from the board. Then if you look on the top here, you've got a clamp. Just open that up and pull your battery through. And that's your battery holder gone. And you've got access there. Let's pop him there. The next thing we need to do is to remove the pipe holder clamp. And the simplest way to do this by far is to get your small screwdriver in and just flick that up like that. And that will remove the pipe holder clamp, which gives you access to the 4 pipes coming in to the cartridge on the collets. So we're now good to go. We've shut off the ink flow, we've got the paraphernalia out the way, and we can get access to removing these pipes. Now, we've sent you a spare part, an ink block that's pre-filled, pre-primed, and you've got your chips on, but what you don't have is the battery holder and the clamp pipe. You would take those parts from your old cartridge block, so to speak. And you would also use the collets. You'll see what I mean by that. This is supplied with 4 plugs to prevent leakage in transport. And all you would do is take these plugs off. And there you go. There's Mr. Cyan. He's gone. There's a magenta. I'm going to actually lay it down, stand it down, because it's easier to get a little bit more purchase underneath and just get the thing moving. It's the yellow gone. And that's black gone. And these are solid plugs, designed so that you don't get any ink leaking out during transportation. Give the area a quick wipe. Now, as I've said, these are collets. And I've deliberately used pre-used collets so that you can see the colour. They're clear in colour. And you won't see that much if I didn't. And what they are is it receives a pipe and it forms a seal between the cartridge and the pipe. So all you would do is just bob your collet in, just like that, nice and gently in. There's no force required at all. And we've got cyan collet next. You can do them in whichever order you want, in fact, but I'm just talking as I go. I'm told I talk too much. By my wife, that is. And that's the cyan one in. Let's bob our black in, because it's quite exciting not to do them in order. Sometimes it means that we're not boring. And we're going to pop in Mr. Yellow. So, we've now got the block, and as you can see, we've got our collet switched over and we're good to go. The next job we've got is we're going to take the pipes out of our system here. And we're going to replace that component. And this is just a matter of just gently pulling it straight up, nice and gently. There's no big deal going on. There's magenta up, and it's pulled. It may pull the collet out with it. It's just one of those things. If it does, you can always push it back in. Yellow and black, and there we go. So it's quite good that it's done it this way. You can clearly see the collets. Let's just clean that up there, because we don't want a mess, do we? And I don't know if you can see that. I think you should be able to see that quite clearly. I'll move it around a bit so you can see. You can see the collet attached to the elbow connector. All we want to do is to remove those off. And that is quite simply done just by pulling them off. And get our friendly yellow one done. And any ink, spatter, etc., etc., give it a little clean and you're good to go. So, that's that lot off, and we're now just going to transfer those pipes onto our new cartridge block. Now, just be very, very gentle going in. Don't force it, just you'll feel it go in nice and gently. What you don't want to do is push the collet into the cartridge block. So it's just a question of a little bit of patience. Once you get it moving in, it's quite a simple thing to do. As you can see, we're not having too much of a problem here. You can always tell when somebody's got to be careful. They shut up and they have to think. Now, what I would recommend you do is just push it in and then pull it up a bit just to ease anything on that collet so that it's back in place as you want it, acting as a seal. And there we go, that's done. Again, cleaning up. And it's just then a case of just putting our clamp back on. And you don't forget you're referring to your mobile phone because you took a picture. You were smart and you didn't want to have to guess. Route your pipes neatly and get your clamp back on. There we go. You'll know if there's something wrong because things won't fit up right. Then we're going to put our battery holder in next. And then we're going to make the connection. There is a groove, you can't get that wrong. There's only one way the battery can go, and there's a protrusion in the block to the cable. And just support the back and just push that in there. And that is you're good to go. And that is everything changed over. I think you'll agree, there's nothing complex or difficult with that. It's just about a procedure and going at it steadily. Thank you.